UFC fighters, no, UFC organization problem with pushing young fighters and how they could go better way with doing it. So as you know, you could probably tell I'm not heated or anything, but you could probably tell like I'm really passionate about young fighters and how they progress, and because in reality they're the one who's gonna shape the UFC. They're the one who's gonna later on in their career be the who's and be the top contenders, the champions. So I want to see them being the best that they could when they're at the top, not be beaten up and not be like, how can I say this, not be worn out at a young age. For example, Edmund Shabazian, I don't want to see him reach his peak at 25, 24 years old, 26 maybe, and then once he's like in his late 20s and early 30s, I don't want to see him already like worn out, washed up, I want to see him peak form, fighting against the best of the best, fighting against Khamzat Chimaev and Khamzat Chimaev and other good fighters, whoever is going to be at the top at that time when Edmund Shabazian is older. So yeah, UFC's problem with pushing young fighters is they're not going to give them and wait, let me start off by saying this. I love the UFCs. I love how they match up fights. I love how they make the best versus the best. I love how they push fighters and don't make a fighter, they don't, it's not like boxing. It's not too much like boxing. It's not like, if I could think of one problem that the UFC is doing is with Greg Hardy. I think Greg Hardy, that heavyweight, that football heavyweight, they're giving him absolutely tuna cans, they're giving him tuna cans. And even though his last two fights aren't tuna cans, don't get that wrong. And they actually even gave him, the last two fights were actually really hard, but before that, they were giving him tuna cans. And they're giving one more fighter tuna cans. I can't remember, but I think, let me try to remember. Well, I can't remember. I don't want to make this video too long. Basically, the UFC doesn't know how to push young fighters into making them, they make them stars, but that's not what I'm getting at. I'm getting at really young fighters, like Edmund Shabazian age, not Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, they would have pushed him too early if it wasn't for his USADA ban, honestly. They would have pushed him too early. Even he said, he's like, I wish, he's like, thank God for it. He's like, it's actually a really good thing that this happened, that his 2-year ban happened, because now he's way better. At 25 years old, he's way better. He has more power, more strength, more experience, better everywhere, better skill set, And I feel like in the UFC, they don't know how to do that with really young fighters. Example being, what's that kid's name? The kid that looks like Sean O'Malley and Ben Askren. The skinny kid at 145 who got knocked down in the first round and lost with the afro. And he's really good at BJJ. I don't remember his name. But that kid, for example, he's 20 years old. They gave him a vet, and the vet beat him, unanimous decision, and took away something from him. He hit him in the chin, and that rocked him. That rocked him. That will affect him later in his career. That will affect him 100%. That will affect him later in his career. He might learn from it. Yes, he's gonna learn. But why push him against a really good fighter like that, and so soon? Why? Why can't they give him really like? I know UFC is the best of the best fighters, so they're very limited with tuna can fighters. They're very limited. And I hate saying tuna can fighters because any fighter who steps in there is not a can. You really got to believe that. I mean, unless they're fighting literally from the street or with a 0-20 record or 0-10 record, that's a tuna can. But I'm just saying that so people could understand, Anyway, why don't they make it to where they're giving him the weakest possible opponents and very, very, very... They're spreading out his time to make it like one fight a year. So that way he could grow. He could grow into his fights, and he could get better every fight. And what I'm getting at is get way better every fight, basically. Instead of putting him against someone and then 3 months later putting him against an even higher level opponent when he's still only 20 years old. You know what I mean? Like, he's still young. He's very young. That's so young for MMA. So young. Another thing is, they need to copy boxing in a sense. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be a little mad about this statement, but if you really think about it, it's really true. Because I honestly was mad too. I'm like, I hate boxing, man. They're making the worst fight the worst, and that's 100% a fact. But for young fighters like Ryan Garcia, when he started out, they made it perfect. They made it perfect for him. Look how they're staging up his fights. Look how they gave him bad fight after bad fight after bad fight. Spaced, guys. Remember that. Spaced. They're not making it 1 month later, you fight this guy. Another 2 months later, you fight this guy. You know? And they're making the levels of the fighters he's fighting very low level fighters he's fighting. I believe he even fought a street fighter. I'm not even kidding. It was on Street Beefs, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he fought one of those fighters, and they weren't the best. And Ryan Garcia KO'd him in the second round with a punch behind the ear. Yeah. So I believe that's how they should do it. And that's pretty much it for this video. I don't want to make it too long. I don't want to make it over 7 minutes. If I do, then I do, I guess. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike. Tell me where I went wrong. Tell me what I need to work. Tell me, just don't dislike and say, oh, your videos are trash. You know, just say what I need to improve, because I'm really trying to improve. You know. And that's pretty much it. I'm probably forgetting something. Let me try to remember the last 2 seconds if I'm forgetting anything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, a fighter's prime age. I'm surprised no one was talking about Edmund's age before this fight with Brunson. I'm really surprised no one talked about his age. Him being 22. It's just crazy to me when someone is that young and fighting, you know, at that level. I thought he should have at least fought Brunson in like 1 year time at least, or 2 more years. I thought late 23-year-old Edmund should have fought a late 37-year-old Brunson. Would have been a way closer fight. Brunson would have probably still won, but it would have been a way closer fight without him taking that much damage. That's pretty much it. I don't like seeing young fighters. Okay, it's over 7 minutes, but it's fine. I don't like seeing young fighters taking damage that early in their careers. I don't like them fighting like that much in their career. Unless a fighter is 25, even if a fighter is new to their career, like 3-0, and they're 25 years old, yes, I get it. Push them. Make them fight a lot of fighters. But if someone is 20, 19, 21, 22, maybe even 23, slow it down a bit. Slow it down. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah.